So earlier this week, Browns traded Kenny Pickett for a fifth-round pick. Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated talked about that trade.
I don't mind the move. I think, look, there's a lot of history over the years. The team's taking swings at quarterback, and if and it working out or it not working out. And, Andrew worked in the Eagles organization and has some of that background. And if you look at it, they've always taken swings, and so. For the most part, if you don't count the DTR part of it, you moved a fifth-round pick back a year to get a 4-month look at a guy who was a former first-round pick at quarterback. And in the end, you had him in position to compete for your starting job, and because of injury, that didn't work out. So you have the chance to get the pick back. Maybe you don't feel like you have quite enough information on him to turn down the trade offer, and that's that. And I think that's a pretty simple way to kind of summarize it. And then I'd say that the upshot for Browns fans is and I think this is a huge part of it, and it's something that not a lot of people are talking about, but it's also like a tacit admission or tacit acknowledgement from Andrew Berry and the Browns front office that they would feel comfortable putting Dillon Gabriel in a game tomorrow.
Yeah, again, that's kind of my takeaway from it, Dalton. I'm curious as to yours. Was all right. Kenny Pickett was insurance in case our third-round pick and our fifth-round pick at quarterback weren't ready to go. Well, and who knows? Many a rookie have looked drastically different in the regular season than preseason, but Gabriel looked like he could go in and operate an offense.
Yeah, he looked like he could function. And I think as long as Gabriel and Shedeur didn't both look like disasters in the preseason, Kenny Pickett was the most likely guy to be moved, right? There's really no long-term incentive to keep him, right? And I think you were just waiting for another team to have the level of urgency that the Raiders did to make this move with their backup, Aiden O'Connell, suffering an injury. He's going to be out a while. They needed a veteran backup. The Raiders pulled the trigger on Kenny Pickett. And as far as the Browns go, I think this was always the most likely outcome, is that Pickett was going to go. The two young kids were going to stay on the team because they just drafted him in whatever order they were going to be in on the depth chart. And, it's a great point to make. If they feel comfortable that Dillon Gabriel's one snap away from playing, if Joe Flacco gets hurt or something like that, then so be it, right? I mean, there's no real long-term benefit to having Pickett on Cleveland's roster. They get the draft pick back, everything breaks even, and then they've got a couple of young guys. We might see both of them suit up this year because Joe Flacco hasn't taken more than 300 dropbacks since 2018. I wouldn't expect that he's going to play in all 17 games this year either.